Everyone for joining us this evening. We're excited. Hopefully you've logged into your portals and you've seen what your first year seminar course is and your housing assignment or your housing building. All right, it looks like it's slowed down just a little bit. So, oh, there, nope, the folks are still trickling in. All right, we'll go ahead and get started because I want to make sure that I'm mindful of your time and our presenters this evening. Please keep in mind we are in the meeting format of Zoom and we are recording, so you can be seen and heard. We ask that you guys mute yourselves unless you would like to unmute to ask a question. During our Q&A portion, you can also use the chat feature to ask your questions. If you don't wish to be on camera, we'll tell you to go ahead and turn off your cameras as well, just because we are recording and it will be posted to the university's YouTube channel. So keeping that in mind. Thank you all. And with that, I am going to turn it over to Dr. Nguyen, who is joining us this evening. And I'm going to go ahead and spotlight her for everyone.
Good evening. I hope you guys are all doing great, and I am excited to see you all and for you to see me. But I wanted to say welcome very much. I look forward to meeting you in the fall, and I'm so glad you can take a few minutes to share with us tonight not only which FSEM you have chosen and now have been placed into, but also how that affects your housing and starting to get to build your UMW community. So I am going to share a couple of quick slides that are just about the process, and some of you may have seen some of this information before, and that's okay. It's never too late to see something again. And then we'll move forward and go from there and take some questions. So let's see if that works. Okay, excellent. So we're talking about the first year experience and your FSEM, and I'm the faculty director for the first year experience, but I am also an assistant professor in the Department of Biological Sciences. So that means that I get to teach such fun classes as Gen Bio, genetics, and plant development courses, which really get me excited. But today we want to talk about the first year experience. So a reminder for some and an introduction for others that the first year experience, and in this case, when we talk about academics, this centers around your first year seminar, because the first year seminar is where you will be in a small discussion-based class of your choosing. You've preferenced that on your questionnaire, and you are placed in that class with up to 14 other students, so it's small, with an instructor as well as a peer mentor. So the whole point of this class is to give you a solid footing for your academic journey at UMW. And in this class, you're going to write and you're going to speak and you're going to discuss and you're going to argue your point. And you may disagree with other people. You may agree with them, but you're going to have a chance to really dig deep into a topic of interest. While you're in this class, you're going to have an instructor who has designed this course and the material to be something that they're passionate about and really something they want to explore with you and a few other folks in that journey together. In this course, you will be making connections as well with the Writing Center, with the Speaking Center, and with the library as you're researching, as you're learning to write about the topics you are talking about in class, and as you're learning to present them maybe informally and formally. You're also going to get to know your faculty, who is your instructor, and that instructor has kind of a dual role as your instructor and as your academic advisor. So that means that they're going to get to know you in class, but they're also going to get to know you outside of class as you talk to them about what you're passionate about learning, what major or minor you're wanting to pursue, and maybe what you want to do once you have graduated from UMW. And part of that getting to know faculty takes place in the classroom. Part of it takes place in office hours, where you get to go to their office and you can peruse their bookshelves and see what they're reading or maybe what they have on their bookshelves and talk about what they're passionate about. A large number of our faculty members are musicians or athletes in addition to what they teach in the class. And so it's a good way to get connected. It's also a good way to ask questions if you want to know more about the material or how you're doing in that class. But your first year academic experience, it really starts kind of now. And it goes through orientation, where you're going to get oriented to campus and where our offices are and what's located here, as well as all of the supports. There's going to be a common read or a common experience that you'll be working on over the summer and head into in the fall. And then you'll come to classes. And by that, I mean you should actually go to class and see your fellow classmates and your faculty members there. But during the entirety of your time here, in addition to the writing center, the speaking center, the library, and the classes, we also have students that will be here to help mentor and guide and support your journey. And so we have that through tutoring. Tutoring is academic discipline specific. So it's talking about how you're doing in accounting 101 and how you can learn that material better, or how you can gather information about, say, general chemistry. We also have peer academic consultants. And that's if you were like, I need to figure out how to take that information in the syllabus and translate it to my calendar so that I know when my assignments are due and what I should start working on sooner in the semester versus later. That's also a good place to go if you want to learn more about taking effective notes, scheduling your time, any of those kind of success skills that you might want to learn from students here that were maybe not the best at it right away, but have figured out strategies that work for them. And then moving forward, we want to talk a little bit about what those kind of steps are to get you here and into your FSEM and ready to have those conversations. So you should have at this point paid your UMW deposit. Good job. You've completed your questionnaire, and that's excellent. And you've been assigned and had that revealed what your FSEM is. So I'm happy to say everybody should have gotten their first choice. So that's terrific. We're so excited we could get you into the course you were most passionate about. Some of you have already listed who you want to room with, and you have figured out those pieces. And so you're well on your journey to coming here and seeing us in the fall. I also want to say that the other kind of next steps, if you haven't filled out your housing and dining contracts, is to go ahead and to work on that. But your support team, which really starting to be assembled now, is that FSEM instructor, because now you know who you will be taking a course from. And then also you'll have a peer mentor, and that is a student that has sat in the seats where you were and gone through either your FSEM course or a different one. And at that point, these students are there. There's one peer mentor for every FSEM section, and they can mentor, they can guide, they do programming, but they're really kind of there to be that big brother, big sister that can help with the process. Other support team members are your RA. So our on-campus students live in residence halls with other first-year students. And so members of your FSEM class are going to be housed somewhere in your building. So you already know a handful of students, but your resident assistant is there to provide programming and support and resources, but also just there to be someone you can talk to. In addition, we have academic services. And so that is the office on campus that has professional advisors. It runs the tutors and the peer academic consultants, but they really keep track of those nitty gritty things like, how do I declare a major? When do I need to do that? What do I do if I want to pick a minor or a certificate program to go in addition to the other areas of interest I'm pursuing? And our professional advisors are matched with every FSEM section so that there is someone who is professionally trained to be there to help with the advising, in addition to the faculty member and the peer mentor that is a student that is going through their educational process along with you. Tutors, like I said, so those are either specific to disciplines or they're specific about how to make the most out of college. And then we mentioned earlier the writing center, the speaking center, the library. I should say we have a digital knowledge center as well. And so while those are staffed with staff members that are experts in each of those fields, we also have student consultants that you can meet with for short, quick appointments or longer, dig deeper appointments. And all of those can be done via Zoom or back in person. And so there's a variety of different ways to engage with these support centers. And it's absolutely 100% free because it's all part of your tuition. The best way to think about the FSEM is that launch pad to success in the first year, where you're really digging into college level writing and speaking and research and getting to understand what you're passionate about and what maybe you want to pursue more. But these are foundational skills you're going to get out of your FSEM that will serve you across your time here at Mary Washington. And so it is important to also talk about the academic supports in the first year, because going to class is one thing and figuring out what you kind of want to do and are passionate about is another. But it's important that we talk about how you're going to have supports layered in. We have pre-registration, which will occur prior to orientation. So that means that based on your questionnaire, all of our incoming students are going to be pre-registered for their FSEM plus 3 or 4 additional classes, so a full course load. And that will be done by professional advisors that understand the curricular needs of each of the disciplines that you have preferenced on your questionnaire. And then once that process is concluded, you'll be able to see your schedule in and around orientation in June. And then coming into July, you will have a one-on-one meeting with a faculty member, and it'll be via Zoom. But at that meeting, you'll be able to talk about your schedule, what you like about it, what questions you have, and if there's any changes or adjustments that you might want to make, you can have a conversation with that faculty member about that, and then have time to look at making any of those adjustments prior to the start of classes. But once classes start, we don't stop supporting your academic journey. We continue that with visits from academic services and our consultants. And then in about mid-October, we're going to have degree planning sessions in our FSEM. So you can learn how to use our tools for degree planning, but also learn how to then get ready to register yourself for classes. Because in the middle of the fall, you'll be able to select and then register yourself for the classes you want to take in the spring or in the summer afterwards. So that kind of is happening in the middle of the semester. And like I said, each FSEM is assigned a professional advisor. That is someone you could build a relationship with or ask additional questions to. But there are also someone there that can go through what the course catalog is and how you explore what are all of the courses you could take and which of the general education requirements or major requirements they would fulfill. And so I mentioned just briefly major requirements and general education requirements. A quick kind of look ahead, but to graduate with a degree from the University of Mary Washington, we're a liberal arts institution. And that means that we believe strongly in a strong and robust general education curriculum where you get broadly trained before you dig deep in a particular major. So about 1/3 of our curriculum is general education. So some language and humanities, some writing, some speaking, some sciences, both social and natural science. And then you have a major. So you pick the major, and if you want to minor, that too. And that's about 1/3 of the curriculum. And then the other 1/3 is electives. Those classes that you're just passionate about, they don't have to fit in the gen ed and they don't have to fit in your major, but there's just something you want to take because you're interested in it or because you want to take a PE class every semester. That works too. So really those are kind of the three buckets classes fall into, but any class you take will count towards your graduation requirements of that 120 courses or course hours you need. So it's really nice to explore broadly and deeply. And that's the best thing I think about a liberal arts education. And if you have not, which you should have by this point already found your FSEM sections, you will have already successfully navigated where these all are. But if at any point you needed to go and see back who your instructor was or any of those information, you can go to academics.umw.edu/FSEM and find out more information about your section and maybe a little bit about what your instructor is passionate about. And with that, in case you have questions that I don't answer today and you need to reach me, and I know there's some popping up in the chat and we'll get to those in a second. My email address is awin@umw.edu. So you can simply email me and I'll get back to you with the best answer I can have. And then if we need to bring in somebody else, we certainly can. So at this point, I will stop sharing where I can then maybe see the chat and answer if you have anything I need to do pressing. Let's look. Sarah, is there something you have in the chat you want me to answer now?
Not yet. It looks like most of our questions coming in are mostly about housing, which we sometimes expect because they are tied together, right? So I don't see anything. We did get a question of where you can see your first year seminar course. And that is available to you in your admissions portal. So if you have questions about the academic experience at Mary Washington, the first year seminar, go ahead and put them in the chat. Oh, we got a a question from Sarah. It says the housing portal is down right now. Cece and Hunter?
Sarah, have you been able to log into the housing portal previously already, or are you just not able to get right in?
Oh, I didn't mean to like start a thing. I was just complaining. I've been on there before. It just gives a this site can't be reached error message.
Yeah, it looks
Okay.
like we might be experiencing an issue right now.
Gotcha.
But you should have your housing. So what you're receiving tonight in terms of housing is your building assignment, and that should be in your admissions portal. I guess that might be a good transition for us. I know Dr. Wynn's going to hang on with us, but we also have some of our amazing Residence Life team with us tonight. We have Cece Burkett, who is our coordinator for housing operations, and Hunter, I'm going to pronounce your last name wrong, Rocher. Did I say it right? Close enough. Okay. Who's our associate director of Residence Life here to kind of talk through the housing questions you have, which we've already had a few pop up in the chat. I don't know if you guys got a quick peek at them.
A handful, yeah. So I'm just gonna kind of jump in there, and you know, it's funny. I think this is probably the third or fourth year that I've followed Dr. Wynn, and every single time I follow Dr. Wynn, I always like, she's amazing at what she does, and you know, it's just she gives a good speech. I was telling Cece this earlier. I think Dr. Wynn really is somebody you need to know, and is just amazing. So she mentioned just a few minutes ago that this is kind of like at your FSEM is kind of your launch pad to success, and I have to echo that. Residence Life and Housing, we've been working with the FSEM team for a number of years now, and we fully support it, and we know that it is kind of your launch pad to success, and we try to build off of that within the residence halls. We know that the first year experience is tremendously important to your success at UMW. And it's also something that's like really cool. And so it starts with that FSEM, but what's really neat about it is it also starts with your roommate's FSEM, and it starts with your hallmate's FSEM and your suitemate's FSEM. And it kind of gives you this, you know, situation that everybody's going through from the very beginning. So you hit campus, you get into your hall, you get into your FSEM, and you immediately have people going through the exact same thing that you're going through, which kind of gives you that immediate bond. And helps you start forming that community, and that's your friend community, and then maybe, you know, your hall community, your university community, and community is extremely important to success throughout all 4 years here at UMW. We know that learning happens outside of the classroom, and FSEMs really kind of build on that, and you know, I want to mention your peer mentor and your RA. They will help with that learning that continues on past your FSEM in your residence halls. And I mean, heck, sometimes your you know, late night deep conversations, you know, that's where some of your tremendous growth happens. But your peer mentors and your RAs are superheroes, right? Like, they are just amazing individuals. Your peer mentors have such a drive to make sure that you succeed in your first year. And it's amazing. I get to talk to the peer mentors every year. And I have peer mentors that will email me and just say, hey, were you aware of this? Or did you know this? And it's just really this great communication that we have that is all in place to help support you be successful in your first year. Same thing with your RA, and I really can't talk of the RAs enough. That's a program that I'm in charge of. You know, and the RAs have gone through exactly what you're going through. You know, they were homesick when, you know, just like you might be homesick, right? They were confused where their classes were the first day, just like you might be confused where your classes are the first day. They're a tremendously awesome resource. Everybody has an RA that lives in the residence hall. They're generally within 4 or 5 doors from where you are. And so I encourage you to get to know your RA. Your RA will spend the year trying to get to know you, trying to engage with you, trying to get you involved in the community. And we can only do so much, right? At some point in time, you need to open the door and step outside and get engaged. And we really hope that you do, because once you get engaged at UMW, just beyond your classes, UMW opens up. It becomes this amazing, well, I mean, it's already an amazing place, don't get me wrong, but it really opens up to you. And so that engagement is super important. The last thing I want to say about FSEMs and living in the residence halls is, again, kind of back to that cohort, right? Like, you're immediately going to have this group of people that have the same interests that you do, because you and 14 other people have signed up for the same subject, right? So you know automatically that if you don't know anybody else on campus, you have at least 14 friends that you can chat with right off the bat. But inside the residence halls, there are a number of different FSEMs, right? So if you live in Mason Hall, there are 12 other FSEMs in Mason Hall. And so that's 12 other opportunities to really meet other people and you know, as Dr. Wynn said, find out what you like. You know, you might be having a great time in your FSEM, but you suddenly see one that's you know, film in the 20th century, and you're like, this is great. You know, you have those conversations. So it's just one of those things that you know, the FSEMs are really important. We fully support it. We really enjoy working with the FSEMs. We're excited that you're here tonight. We're excited that you're coming in the fall. With that, I'm going to kick it over to Cece with some more information.
Yeah, thanks so much, Hunter. Great info about the FSEM being tied in with our halls. So we've had a lot of questions about roommates, and I think now would be a great time to chat about roommates. So once you get your FSEM assignment, you will then be assigned to a specific first-year residence hall. We have multiple residence halls that are first-year specific, so you'll be living with other first-year students. Your RAs, your resident assistants, will be upper-class students, but as far as the other residents on your floor and in your building, they'll all be first-year students. And so in your housing application, there will be what we call a roommate matching questionnaire. This is a bunch of questions, a whole host of questions really, about how you live day to day, what time you like to go to bed, how you like to use your bedroom in terms of studying, sleeping, hanging out, volume levels, et cetera, et cetera. On this questionnaire, something important that I'm going to note is that you will create a screen name. This is going to be the name that other people in the housing portal will see you as. So some people might not want to give their first and last name. That's totally fine. You can make this screen name whatever you want within reason, within clean reason. And so like you can make it Cece or Cece Burkett or Cece loves dogs, or you don't even have to have your name in it, really whatever you want. But the important thing to remember is that is what other students are going to see when they're searching for roommates in the portal. And so moving on, finding roommates. There are a few different ways that you can let us know that you want a roommate or find a roommate, etc. So you can allow our office to pair you up with a roommate. This is going to be another first-year student that you will be matched up with. The housing portal will do some back-end work and match you up with a friend or rather another student. We see that this works out really well the majority of the time. Students meet each other and sometimes become best friends for the rest of the year. Sometimes you're just roommates, and that's fine. You can just be roommates and you can live together wonderfully for a year. You don't have to be best friends. The second way is that you can find your own roommate. So you don't know anyone else that's coming into UMW for their first year, but you want to know, at least have some idea when you move in of who your roommate is going to be. That's great. You will be able to reach out to other people in the housing portal that are assigned to your same first year building. So remember, your FSEM and everyone in your FSEM will be in the same first year building. Additionally, multiple other FSEM courses and those students are also going to be assigned to your building. So once you've started your housing application and are assigned to an FSEM, you will be able to reach out to other students who are also assigned to your building. So I'm in Mason Hall. I can reach out and message other students that are also assigned to Mason Hall. You're not set into anything when you reach out to someone. You can just have a conversation and see if you think you'll get along. If you do, you can create a roommate group in the housing portal, which indicates to us that you have someone else that you would like to live with in the fall. When we are working on housing assignments in summer, we have housing assignments go out in June. We will see your roommate groups and be able to assign you with that person in your roommate group. The last way that you can kind of find or let us know that you have a roommate is maybe you already know someone who's coming to UMW that you want to live with in the fall. That is totally fine. You can do that. We do encourage, though, students to consider maybe not living with that person that they know from home. We want you to meet people. You already know that person, so you're going to be seeing them on campus anyways. You're going to make an effort to connect with them, but you don't have to already know your roommate. So it's just a great way to kind of increase the people that you're meeting right off the bat by not rooming with someone that you already know. Also, we want you all to stay friends. And we know that sometimes when you're living with someone day in, day out, even though you've known each other for 12 years, things happen. And so sometimes just a little bit of extra space, you have that person across campus that you know that you can go meet up with on Ball Circle to have lunch. And then you already have a friend there, and then you get to meet another person with your roommate. So just some things to consider. So I'll sum that up one more time. You can have our office pair you with someone that you don't know, who you'll get your assignment over summer and be able to reach out to them and chat before you move in. So it's not like you're going in blind. The second way is that you can find your own roommate through the housing portal or some other way. We do have a Facebook group. I don't know if you all are privy to that yet, but feel free to place a personal ad on your class's Facebook page. Sarah's nodding yes. Yeah, market yourself. And then the last way is to room with someone that you already know from home. Some people, we get a lot of questions. I don't know if it's been thrown into the chat yet. We have both traditional style halls and suite style halls for first year students. And so just a quick bit about that. Traditional halls, students will be able to use more larger communal style bathrooms on their floor. With suite style halls, you'll have 2 rooms adjoined by a bathroom in the middle. So it's a little bit more of a private bathroom. In this situation, you will have the opportunity, if you would like, to also preference suite mates. So normally students can create a roommate group. Everyone can do that. If you're in a suite style hall and you happen to find another roommate pair that you want to be with, reach out to our office and let us know. You won't be able to add them to your group in the housing portal. So it's really important that you all reach out to us and we get you all connected. But yes, it is feasible to select your suite mates as well if you identify some people that you want to live with.
I just put the student Facebook group in the chat, and I know we have a few parents joining us tonight, so I'm going to put the parent Facebook group in the chat. One of the questions in there, Cece, that we got that I haven't heard you mention, somebody asked about specialty housing. I believe they're referring to all female housing in our LGBTQ community and when those assignments will come out.
Sure thing. Hunter, you want me to go? You got it?
You got it.
Okay, sure. Yeah. So we do have 2 special, quote unquote, special communities on campus. So we offer you all the option to indicate interest within your housing application into what we call an LGBTQ plus supportive community. And additionally, an all-female community. And so right now, those halls that are housing those communities on campus are Madison Hall for the LGBTQ plus supportive community and Ball Hall for our all-female community. We generally have some great interest in these communities. What we do is we evaluate the interest that we see. We'll reach out to the students that are interested in these communities directly, just to see, exactly what you're looking for, if you have a roommate, et cetera, et cetera. And then we'll go from there, give you a little bit more information about options, et cetera. But those are the options, just so you are aware, the 2 communities. And you'll see in your housing application interest questions on some of the earlier pages asking you to let us know if you would consider those communities.
And just to kind of tag on there, so those communities, sometimes they, it kind of varies from year to year, but they tend to be very popular. And so we don't necessarily always have enough room for everybody that's expressed interest. And so again, we try to have those individual conversations with everybody and kind of figure out what they're looking for, what they want, and try to help facilitate that. But as far as like when you get your actual assignment for one of those special communities, it will be the first week of June when everybody else gets their assignments. I just also wanted to say something about roommates real quick. I lived with my best friend my freshman year, right? And probably 6 weeks into, not even 6 weeks, maybe about 4 weeks into the semester, we ended up with a tape line down the middle of the room, right? You know, that was his side, this was my side. And joke was on him because the door was on my side. So as far as I know, he's still in the room. But we do know that whether you're living with somebody you know, or whether you are paired up with somebody, the experience is relatively the same as far as satisfaction. People tend to be as satisfied with a roommate that they're not familiar with, and as they would be with somebody that they are familiar with, and vice versa. You know, that they can have some conflict either with somebody they know or somebody they don't know. But again, I know a lot of individuals that I was on my freshman hall with. And I really do recommend, if you have an opportunity to meet somebody new, I would take that opportunity.
Thanks, Hunter. Great addition.
Awesome. Looks like we got another question. Let me see here. I answered that one. Sorry, there's a whole combination of questions in here.
Cece, I'm sorry, did you talk about if you're in 2 different FSEMs in 2 different buildings and being a roommate?
Yep, that was going to be the question that I just saw. So can people from two different halls room if they get along? I'm talking to a potential roommate, but they're in a different building.
Yeah, sure. So you can. We prefer, obviously, that roommates be assigned to the same building. You find someone else that's already in your building. But if you've created this inescapable bond with a friend and you are, for example, in the nursing program and you really need to be inside of your residence hall, but they're assigned to a different one, we'll work with you all. If you're in different FSEM buildings, just reach out to us and let us know. The earlier, the better. But we'll be able to still match you up on our end as we're going through the assignments process later on in May, June. So it's possible. Just let us know and we'll chat.
The easier way to do that is to touch base with your admissions counselor, and one of you could switch to a different FSEM choice that is located in the same hall. And that we would want to do right away. But that way you're both still involved in that same community, because we hate to pull you out of that community. So that is something you can touch base with your admissions counselor with, and we can work on that on the back end.
If you're unsure of who your admissions counselor is, you are welcome to email admit@umw.edu, and we'll be able to tell you who your counselor is. We just got another question. What is the best way to connect with someone from admissions if you have questions? Admit@umw.edu. Right now, it's about 24 to 48 hours for a response. We try to respond as quickly as we can. Just so everyone is aware, we finished sending admissions decisions out today. So we are hitting a big stride of emails. So if it may take a smidge longer, but we do try to respond within 24 to 48 hours. Sometimes it can be a little bit quicker. Questions? All right, let me put that email address in the chat for you. If you have a question, but we're maybe too shy to ask it tonight, you're welcome to email admit@umw.edu, and we will make sure that we get it answered by either our residence life team or by Dr. Nguyen. So we will make sure that we get you your answers that you have, and always remember that starting out with your admissions counselor is a good place to begin. All right. Not too many questions tonight. I know some of you have probably joined for other sessions that we've done with both Dr. Nguyen and Cece and Hunter, so you may have already had those questions answered. I hope that everybody is excited that they got their first choice for their FSEM course. That's pretty exciting, which also hopefully means your first choice for a building too, because you knew which building it was when you when you signed in for that. If you are not able to log into your admissions portal, you can contact your admissions counselor and we can help you out with that. But again, it's in your admissions portal where you would have gotten your admissions decision or uploaded any materials for your application. So feel free to check it out there. We'll stick around for a minute or two if anybody thinks of anything, but that concludes our formal portion for this evening. So thank you so much. And we look forward to welcoming you on campus this fall. Thanks, everyone.